Hey guys, and welcome back to Love English. I'm Sabrah. Today we're going to talk all about how to get fluent in English quickly. If you are new to this channel, then don't forget to subscribe. We know if you're watching without subscribing. Click that notification bell as well so that you don't miss one of our Love English lessons. You can also connect to us on our social media, Facebook, Instagram and Twitter. Okay, so fluency, of course, is something that every language learner wants. They want to become fluent in the language. They want to master the language until they are fluent. So before I start to give you some of my suggestions on how you can become fluent quickly, let's first define fluency. Fluency is the ability to keep speaking without hesitating often and without stopping to think of the word that you need frequently. It's about being understood and being able to understand 80 to 90% of things that you hear, so of conversations that you hear. So fluency is principally about your speaking ability. It's not about your reading or your writing ability. It is about your speaking ability, and I think it's really important to keep that in mind. Now, some barriers to fluency that I have noticed over the years being a teacher are if you're shy and you're too shy to speak, or you're very worried about your pronunciation. That's a big barrier, meaning a block or a way in the road that stops you from being able to get fluent. The second thing which I think can stop you from becoming fluent is not knowing enough grammar. So if you don't know enough grammar, it's very hard to put sentences together and follow a conversation in terms of time frames and things like that. So not knowing enough grammar can be a block to fluency. Also vocabulary. Stopping to think of the right word or not being able to follow the conversation because you don't know the words. So those are the three things which I think are the biggest barriers to fluency. Now, hopefully my suggestions are going to help you to overcome those barriers and get fluent quickly. Okay, so the first thing I want to talk about is how important it is when you're a language learner to set definite goals. I'm sure you've heard this before, but I wonder if you guys have actually done it. Setting goals doesn't necessarily mean I want to have passed my IELTS. It doesn't need to be big things like that. It can be I want to be able to have a conversation with a native speaker and not feel really nervous or underconfident. Or it can be I want to learn 10 new words a day for the next 3 months. And those goals, and actually achieving those goals, is so important for the whole process of being able to feel like you're achieving something on your language learning journey. It's very easy to get demotivated and to feel like you're stuck at a particular point. So a lot of English learners, for example, get stuck at intermediate, which means you're quite good, you're basically fluent in some ways, but you're missing quite a lot of things about the language, or you're still making a lot of mistakes. So a lot of language learners can get stuck at intermediate. However, with goals, you can push yourself up to the next level. So setting goals is really important. I would suggest writing them down in a diary and being like, right, by next week I want to have watched 3 English movies. By the following week I want to have learnt 50 new words. The week after that I want to be able to have a conversation with a native speaker where I feel comfortable. And these goals, as you tick them off, are really going to help you. So set yourself goals. If you haven't done it already, do it now. Number 2 is to learn chunks of language. We can also call this chunking. And this is just where we learn fixed phrases that we know are going to be useful in certain situations. So for example, when meeting someone for the first time, expressing your opinion, saying that you thought something was enjoyable. Learning those fixed phrases is going to give you more confidence, and it helps you to start building sentences and being able to have conversations with native speakers or other English language learners that flow. So it's really going to start to help you with your fluency. We call it chunking. I made a video, guys, on 20 conversational English phrases. Those phrases are all used in daily English conversations. So if you learn them, it will help you be able to contribute more to conversations. You can see that just up there. You can also start to learn whole sentences to describe your weekend or what you're going to do during the week. But start to learn those fixed phrases that you feel really confident are correct in terms of the grammar and the pronunciation. And these are going to be like your building blocks to being able to have flowing English conversations. Number 3. This is probably the most important thing you can do for your English fluency, but I think for many learners it's the hardest. And it is to get out there and to speak. Fluency, as we've already established, is all about your speaking ability. So if you're not practicing your speaking ability, you're not going to improve it and you're not going to become fluent. Now, I know a lot of learners are shy, they worry about their pronunciation. If that's a barrier for you, start to address that, but stop worrying about making mistakes. I always say this in my videos, it doesn't matter, you learn from those mistakes. I know this is particularly a problem for speakers from Asian countries. They're very shy and can worry about making mistakes, but in England, it really doesn't matter. We really don't mind if you make a mistake. So some ways in which you can practice your speaking are you can get a one-to-one teacher online, or you can join group classes, or you can join actual classes and enroll in a course if you have the time. Although I know a lot of you probably don't have the time. So a one-to-one teacher is a great idea. You guys know that we work with italki. We really recommend them in terms of having an online English teacher who is a native speaker and who can help you on a one-to-one basis with your English. You can also join online forums where they will sometimes have group chats and things like that to start to improve your English. You can join an English language conversation class. You could organise a language exchange, so you teach your language to someone and they teach English back to you. That's a great way to learn. I always think that the best language lessons are when we are relaxed, with friends, trying to practice our English in a coffee shop, bar, pub, restaurant, and all together trying to practice the language we are trying to learn. It's a great way to improve. Number 4, improve your grammar and your vocabulary. As I said at the beginning, not knowing enough grammar and vocabulary can really be a barrier to your fluency because you're having to stop and think of the right word, or you don't know the words, you can't express yourself. Of course, not knowing enough vocabulary is a problem. So make it a priority to improve your vocabulary if you want to improve your fluency. Likewise for grammar. As I explained before, if you don't know enough grammar, you can't construct sentences. You can't follow when something happened in a conversation if you don't know the grammar. So make it a priority, of course, to learn those things if you're focusing on improving your fluency. Number 5, this is probably the best point, and it is make the process enjoyable. Learn how you like to learn. Leila and I, in our video on 8 steps to English fluency, talked about how important it is to know your learner style. So how do you like to learn? Do you like to learn by hearing, by doing, so by perhaps moving or playing games as you're learning English? Or do you like to learn visually? Are you a visual learner? However you like to learn and however you learn best, make sure you learn this way. You're much more likely to keep progressing and stay motivated. I have a friend of mine who honestly became fluent in English just by watching American TV, so American films, American TV shows all the time. She told me that she had the TV on in the background even when she was doing other things like cleaning, cooking. The TV was always on, so she was listening to the sounds of English. It's such a great way to learn. And these days, guys, you have YouTube, you have lots and lots of online English language learning platforms, you have Netflix, Amazon Prime. So there are so many ways that you can watch and listen to English. That might not necessarily be the way that you learn. You might prefer to go out and speak to people in bars and coffee shops, or you might like to learn by doing crosswords, doing English crosswords, or playing lots of English word games like Scrabble. However you like to learn, make sure that you do that, because learning English should be enjoyable. I know it's hard work, but it should also be enjoyable. It's an amazing achievement to master a language and become fluent. So keep motivated, guys. Right, guys, I do hope this video will help you to become fluent quickly. If you have any questions or tips about how you've got fluent or how you're learning English, then please share them in the comment section below. If you like this video, then please give it a thumbs up and share it. Thank you very much for watching, everybody. We'll see you soon on Love English. Bye-bye.